Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Burns, and welcome back to the Buffalo Bills franchise here on my channel. We are in week 11, which means it is that all-important bye week as we come off of the win against the New York Jets last week. A couple of losses suffered is, we're sitting at 8-2 coming into this bye week. So it's been a pretty good season. You're going to see a roster move made here as Logan Thomas, our tight end, has been released. And we pick up Arden Key to be a pass rusher for us after Jerry Hughes went down. You look at the schedule, obviously coming off that win against the Jets, but the two losses before it, and the schedule throughout the rest of the season is not going to be easy. You see what we face next week as we take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have an incredible defense. Then that all-important big user game against Jersey Bourne and his Miami Dolphins. Then we play the Jets again, and then Matt Stafford and the Lions, I'm sure, are going to be no joke. And then we got to play the Patriots again, who are one of the teams who have handed us a loss so far this season. Then we end the season against the Dolphins once again at home. So speaking of those Dolphins, they currently have the best record in the AFC East and the NFL. They sit at 10-0. We're 2 games back at 8-2. But we still have those 2 games against them, so it's not unreachable at this point. The Jets sitting at 0-10. The Pats are a couple games back of us. As you can just look at the AFC standings overall, the Broncos looking good. But overall, it's looking like we're going to have a good shot at the playoffs. There are a lot of teams with 6 wins, though, so we do still have to perform down the stretch here to, make the playoffs. We can't be complacent with the 8 wins. We probably got to get 10 or 11 if we want to, ensure a spot in the playoffs with all these teams starting to gather up behind us. But again, it's been a good season so far. As you're just going to get a look at the bottom of the standings. The Bucks are 0-9, and we'll take a look at the team stats. Player stats, you can pause it at any moment to, check out a stat you want to see specifically. Josh Allen's been a good quarterback for us. There have been times where he's not been able to hit some throws, but again, he's a rookie, and I'm just hoping that he's going to develop over time, and I think he will. I think the biggest problem that I've seen this season is the sacks. I think our offensive line outside of Richie Incognito has been absolute garbage, and it's something I definitely want to fix in the upcoming offseason, but we got to deal with it for the rest of this season. And one of the biggest surprises for me is how good that Tremaine Edmonds has been. He's been an incredible player at middle linebacker. I believe he's we'll see it here in a sec when we get into the awards. But he's having such an incredible season. I know he's leading for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I believe he's also leading for Defensive Player of the Year. So for him to come in and perform like he has, it's been awesome. The defense has been really awesome. Not yardage-wise. We give up a lot of yards and give up a good amount of points, but getting turnovers when we need them to. Steven Hauschka has been perfect on the year as he sees 28 for 28 and 35 for 35 on extra points. So he's been really awesome. Haven't had to worry about kicking, which is nice. And Brad Wing's been a pretty good punter for us. So that's been a solid pickup, the Aussie out of LSU. Happy with that. And then Tywan Jones, I've liked what I've seen from him in the kick return game. As we're going to go through the players of the week real quick. Again, you can pause to look at any stats you want to see. But there are some Bills players. There are some Dolphins players as well. So it's been a good showing for the AFC East so far this season, obviously, with 3 teams that have a chance to make the playoffs in our Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and of course the New England Patriots. You never can count them quite out of it yet. And then here are your annual awards. You see Josh Allen's in contention for the MVP. He's having a good season, and he's an important player on a pretty good team. I don't think he's going to win the MVP. Hopefully he does win Offensive Rookie of the Year. As you see, he is currently leading. We'll still have to see how things shake out. We still have, a solid 7 weeks left before the season's over. We still got 6 more games to, determine all that. So, there's a chance that we're going to have a pretty good showing in the yearly awards, as you can see. Again, overall, I've been pretty happy with the team. There are definitely areas I want to clean up. I think that, our offensive line could be a lot better. I do want to add, Des Bryant right now, where you have him, as you're getting a look at at the draft class and some of the scouting I've done. I want to add a receiver. I would like to add, possibly a tight end to go along with Charles Clay. I mean, Charles Clay is starting to get up there in age. Another running back would be nice. Chris Ivory's been good in relief of LaShawn McCoy, but McCoy, as we know, is pretty injury prone, and he is on the wrong side of 30. So who knows how long he's got left. You know, possibly another defensive lineman. I think our defensive line, especially at defensive tackle, is something I really want to shore up, because our top 2 DTs are Kyle Williams, who's 35, and Star Lotulelei, who's also starting to get up there in age. You know, so there's stuff we got to improve. Our offensive line, I think, is the biggest need for sure. It's been rough for Josh Allen. He's you know, running around, having to do a lot of things with his legs, and you know, luckily we have that quarterback who is able to do that. But you know, it'd be nice to actually get him some solid offensive linemen. I think specifically, who knows what Incognito's plan is going to be after this year. I don't know, you know, if he's going to retire or what the plan is. Deion Dawkins at left tackle looks to be a solid future lineman. Hopefully he can keep improving. And then the right side of the offensive line, including the center, is really just all that needs to include. And speaking of contract extensions, this is who's up for extension. We already signed Kelvin Benjamin to an extension. And pretty much the rest of these guys, I'm pretty torn on bringing back. Keenan Robinson's been a good nickel linebacker for us, and Tywan Jones has been a good kick returner. But other than that, you know, Jordan Mills I want gone as far away from Buffalo as possible. He's our right tackle and has really had a poor season. So I think the biggest decisions there are, do we extend Kyle Williams? Is he going to retire after this year? He is 35. And then Tyler Kroft, who's the tight end we traded for from Cincinnati. We traded Jeremy Curley for him. If we want to extend him or not, he's been pretty limited, but he is pretty talented, and he's still pretty young. As we're going to get a look at just some of the league leaders here before we wrap up this video. Yeah, so I think overall, it's been a promising season. There's still a lot of stuff we got to work on. We're in contention for the playoffs. This is potentially a Super Bowl team. You know, we're gonna have to see down the stretch. It's gonna be a tough. You know, out of these last few games, I think the only one that I can guarantee a win is the New York Jets. We saw what Tom Brady did against us. I'm sure Stafford's gonna be incredible. I'm sure it's gonna be impossible to move the ball on this Jags defense that we face next week. Tune in for this big game against Jalen Ramsey and his Jacksonville Jaguars. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.